I'm sorry for the loud noise. The swamp cooler is on right now. My name is Sarah. I'm a 27-year-old single mom and nurse, and me and my daughter live in my parents' garage. And today I'd like to share on how we got here, so let's go inside so we can talk about it. Close this door. Close this door. Open this door. And we're home. Excuse the mess. It is laundry day today. Okay, I think that's better. I want to take you guys back to 2019. I was As you can see, it's nighttime now. I filmed and edited this video earlier. I just did not like the way it turned out, so we're gonna try again. But honestly, I think the root of that is that it finally just hit me how many people watched my last video, which if you did, thank you so much. But I have anxiety as it is, so that just makes it worse. So we're gonna take it back to 2019. This year was very busy. I was 20 years old at this time. I was living in California with my parents. I found out I was pregnant, and at the same time, I found out that my parents were moving to Arizona. At this time, I did not want to move to Arizona. Like, my whole entire life was in California. My school, my friends, my home, everything was in California for me. So I tried my best to keep me and my daughter in California, but it just didn't work out that way. And I ended up moving with my parents here to Arizona. And this is where the garage apartment comes into play. So this garage apartment was actually built from the previous owner. So when my parents bought it, it was here. And that is where me and my daughter moved into when we moved with my parents here to Arizona. And at this time, it was a very difficult transition for me. I was postpartum. I just became a single mom. I have no friends, and I just felt very isolated. I did not know how to deal with those emotions. So when me and my daughter were living here, I did not last more than a few months. I ended up moving with my parents into their mobile home with them because I just needed additional support and help. So me and my daughter were there for a year, and within that year, I was still working on my nursing prerequisites for a nursing school back in California, and I completed my prereqs. I graduated with my associate's degree in math and science, and then shortly after that, I applied to nursing school back in California, and I got accepted. And by that time, it was time for me and my daughter to move back to California so I can complete nursing school. So we stayed there for 2 years. Throughout those 2 years, I relied heavily on my friends and family to help me out with childcare because that was the biggest thing for me. I was also on welfare and food stamps, which were such a big help. By May of 2023, I graduated nursing school, and that whole entire time I was sobbing like a baby. And I wasn't sobbing because I was happy. I was sobbing out of relief. And looking back now, I really wish I could have done those 2 years differently. I spent a lot of time just hoping and wishing that we can fast forward through this part of our lives. So I didn't really get to enjoy nursing school or the first few years of my daughter's life because I was just always in survival mode. After graduating, I decided it's time to move me and my daughter back home with my parents, and there's a couple reasons why I wanted to do this. Number one, when I was growing up, I never really knew my grandparents, and I didn't want that for my daughter. And number two, I was kind of homesick. But when we moved back here, we did not move into this garage apartment because my brother and his family were using it, so we moved with my parents into their mobile home. When I first got back here, I started to search for a job because I finally had my nursing license, and I was so stoked. And thankfully, my parents have a hospital that they live 10 minutes away from, so I got a job there, and I've been working there for 3 years now. About a year ago, my brother did move out, but then my sister moved in, but she was only here for a few months, and when she left, that means this place was finally vacant after like 5 years. Also, I think it's important to note that throughout this whole entire time of me moving back with my parents, living in the garage was something that I was so reluctant to. I felt like if me and my daughter were to move back in here, I would just be reliving all of those negative experiences and memories. So I didn't want to do it. But then this is where the shift happened. My parents were actually out vacationing because my parents are retired. So me and my daughter had the whole entire house by ourselves, and it was amazing. We had a really good routine down, and we were just working like clockwork. But when my parents came back, that kind of just stopped. It's kind of hard because it's like, we have my parents' routine, we have my daughter's routine, we have my routine, and I kind of feel like those just all clash together. So by this time, I had it in my mind like, okay, I'm gonna save $50,000 in 2 years so I can buy me and my daughter a house because I just need our own space and privacy. So I was saving about $2,000 per month for 3 to 4 months, but I quickly realized that that was not sustainable. Like, I had no money left over for the smallest things, and it was to the point where I was telling my daughter no for like the silliest things, and I just didn't want that to be her childhood, especially when it didn't have to be. So it's really important to note that I'm $56,000 in student loan debt. So buying a home while still being in debt, it just didn't make sense to me. Also, if I was struggling to save $2,000 per month, I just could not imagine a mortgage because those are the same amount. This is finally where the thought of moving back into my parents' garage clicked for me. I thought really long and hard about this because I just did not want it to be a redo of our first time living here. So I figured if we could at least renovate it and get it to looking completely different, then it would be okay, which it has been. Me and my daughter are so happy here. We are slowly but surely getting routine for ourselves. And also within the first year of living here, I'm planning to pay off all of my student loan debt, which is, I can't wait for the day. I just want to say one last thing because I think it's really important to say. I don't share my story to gain sympathy from people. I spent years of my life stuck in a very victimized mindset, and I thought everything was happening to me. I thought I had no control over anything whatsoever, but I worked really hard to get myself out of that mindset, so I don't want people feeling bad for me because I don't feel bad for myself. But rather, I share my story for those who are maybe in similar situations as me or in unideal situations, that you can still choose to be happy. I feel like the biggest difference between who I was then versus who I am now is that I now understand that life is so short. Being a nurse and just in my personal life, I have seen a lot of loss of life, and when you see that firsthand, I feel like it just kind of does something to you. Number two, everyone is walking their own path. And just because your path doesn't look like somebody else's doesn't mean that your path is wrong. Number three, I now look at what I have versus what I don't have, and that has made me so much happier. Looking back, it does really make me sad that I wasted years of my precious life feeling sorry for myself. So if I can help the next person to not do that and hopefully just give them a different perspective, then that means I've done my job with telling my story. That's gonna wrap it up for this video, and I hope to see you guys in my next one.